Yeah!
Yay! Hello, everyone. Welcome to Movie Club Strikes Back Saturday Hangout thing, where us crazy movie nerdy people talk about movie nerdy and things. I'm Jenny, and I'm moderating. There is no hope for the world. And this is the bunch of crazy people that I will be modding and chatting with today.
Hi guys, my name is Meta and I am coming to you live from Denmark. A bit drunk and a bit confused because I haven't been in a hangout in a while, but I will try to do my best to make some sense of the things I'm saying. If you want to check me out anywhere on Instagram, on Twitter, on YouTube, you can do that on Meta Medicine. I know it's a very weird name. It'll make sense when you get to know me. I have actually posted 2 videos the last week, and that's kind of crazy. Let's put it in perspective that the last 6 months I've posted maybe 3 videos. So it's big things are happening on my channel right now. If you want to join me there, so that's me.
Everyone, my name is Chris, or Christopher. You can find me at Easy Chair Reviews on YouTube, where I promise I'm going to put some more videos up sooner or later. They're on my to-do list, but you will see them shortly. Otherwise, you can go to www.easychairreviews.com, which is my personal blog, and you can read about stuff I'm watching, which is, again, mainly movies, but sometimes video games and TV shows.
He posts some really intelligent stuff that I can't compare with. Um, I am Liam, the token Scotsman of Movie Club Strikes Back, and I've kind of not reviewed a film in a while, even though I've picked a movie for other people to review. It's kind of cheeky, isn't it? Um, I've got a couple of stupid videos of my channel, and you can check that out at Servatorix. I'm totally not playing Assassin's Creed while I'm on this hangout.
And hi, I'm Jenny again, still, and I can be found at Took It Home to Jen on Twitch and Took It Home to Jenny on YouTube. I daily vlog, so I do movie reviews and anime reviews, and I've just started doing a children's book review series. And I talk about British culture and other things, and yeah. And I chose today's subject, which is video gaming and movies and how they kind of cross-hatch as we go. But before I get started on that, I would like to know what all of you guys have watched this week. Have you watched anything particularly exciting that you want to talk about?
I've started watching some new TV shows because if you don't know this, me and Liam, my darling Scotsman, have watched Sons of Anarchy together. And basically it broke our hearts and our spirits, and we didn't really want to live anymore after that. Because Kurt Sutter is a fucking bastard. So I thought I would try to watch something new, and I've been going through a lot of different shows trying to figure out what did I want to watch. And I kind of started watching Brooklyn Nine-Nine, which is, a lot more different than what I used to, but it's so fucking funny. Andy Samberg is so funny, and it has a lot of great characters, and Chelsea Peretti is in it, just a lot of great comedians. And so lately I've been watching that. Almost finished with season 2, which is the latest season there is. And then I've just been watching a lot of comedy, basically. I don't know why. I just switch into the comedy lane instead of the movie lane, because there are a lot of movies in theaters right now I really want to watch. So I'm sort of holding out for those movies instead of watching other movies. So TV shows and comedies are what I like. Stand-up acts are what I'm doing right now.
I've just started watching Brooklyn Nine-Nine as well.
So good.
It's really, really good. Strangely enough, I felt as though it's a funny cop show. It's not really the normal thing that you would, go for.
No.
But it's really good, and you actually do care about the characters quite a lot in it. And,
Yeah, you really do. I think they did a great job with that because, it's comedic in sort of the way that The Office is, but it's not that much that played out to that like super crazy point of view. I don't know, it's funny. It's good.
it's got it's got like the same kind of camera style as The Office does, like in the way that it's invading the office kind of thing, but it's not like they don't interview at all. They're not aware of the cameras, but the cameras move a little. It's a weird thing, but it's good.
Yeah. It's very good.
Yeah.
Cool. This week I didn't have time to watch an anime series, so I've just finished watching My Neighbor Totoro, which was requested that I review, which is amazing, and I love it so much. As soon as this hangout's over, I'm going to film a probably very fixy review. Slider. For My Neighbor Totoro. I love it so much. It's so amazing. And then once I've done that, other videos and stuff I've watched this week. Lots of YouTube when I've had the time to think. And I finally finished Agent Carter, which is the best series I've watched in ages, finished this past week, and it was amazing.
Is that the one that's posted on Netflix?
I'm not sure whether or not it's not in the UK as far as I know. They're going to be posting Daredevil on Netflix, but I don't think Agent Carter is on Netflix. I think maybe the short is on Netflix, but not the full series at the moment.
Okay. Because I thought I saw sort of like...
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, right. I'm going to disappear, but I'm also going to join.
So creepy, a voice is talking and I can't see who it is and I'm scared.
Sorry, can people actually hear me? Yeah, that's...
We just can't see you, Alan.
I'm sorry, right? I'm talking to two groups of people because what I'm actually doing is for everyone that's on twitch.tv/Mr. Harry Brit, I'm just about to sign off. For everyone that actually wants to see me, go to Movie Club Strikes Back, and there's a live stream which I've just joined and confused the living shit out of people for, and wasn't aware that the microphone was on. So I'm sorry, people in the live stream chat, and everyone that's on the twitch.tv and took my virginity this evening. Thank you very much for taking my twitchy cherry, which sounds slightly more creepy and more STD than it requires. I will now be signing off Twitch and joining the live stream. Thank you very much for watching. Once again, Movie Club Strikes Back. I'm sorry for hijacking and being an absolute prick. So I'm now going to mute the microphone on the live stream that I was watching, and I'll be in there in a sec with a webcam.
Okay.
Perfect. So interruptions are great. I was like, suddenly a disembodied voice just started talking, and like, that does not sound like Chris. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, so that's pretty much what I've watched this week. So starting from the beginning,
what about you, Chris?
Oh, did I miss you out? Sorry. Gosh, I'm
no, it's actually fine because I haven't been watching anything in particular this week. Just kind of the standard stuff. I mean, nothing worth talking about, really. I'm kind of looking for my next binge watching show. I might have to try out Brooklyn Nine-Nine since it's apparently getting good reviews.
Yeah.
I will kind of segue us just momentarily because I have been playing Dragon Age Inquisition almost non-stop for the past couple days. I've put about 95 hours since I started playing that game, and I just finished the main storyline quest. So I think I'm going to do a review on that on my blog because it's an interesting experience when you compare it to the rest of the Dragon Age. But that's what I've been doing with my time. But it's probably appropriate since we're going to be talking about video game and video game movies this week on our Hangout.
Yeah. That's awesome. I love that. I love all the Dragon Age games. I haven't got around to playing Inquisition yet, so I'd like to see your review on it.
Yeah, it's definitely. I mean, it's a good follow-on to the series. It's definitely very much a Dragon Age game, but and obviously very in-depth because, like I said, I spent about 95 hours on that thing and just finished the main quest line. I mean, I did all the side quests along the way, so that's why it took so long. But very involved game.
Cool. Okay, so we possibly will be joined by a couple of people as we go, but the first question that I wanted to say is that video games based on movies have a horrendous reputation, usually, as do movies that are based on video games. So I was wondering if you guys can think of your best and worst movie, video game to movie adaptation. What is the worst one you know off the top of your head, and what is the best one? And I will also have a list up, and I will possibly put it into chat if I can find a good one for you guys to all look at, so you're not, looking blind, as it were.
I think if one of the only ones, I think what my difficulty is with this topic is that oftentimes I do not know that something is based on a video game, or it's an idea sprung from that, or that the video game is an idea that came from a movie or something like that. The only one where I'm like, when watching it, where I'm totally sure this is taken directly from a video game is what the hell is it? Doom?
Doom? Yeah.
Yeah, with The Rock and Carl Urban, I think, and stuff, where it's like, I love it and I hate it. I really, really hate it on a lot of points. I think it's absolutely stupid. I think it's ridiculous and it doesn't make any sense. I believe did I play the movie game? Or maybe I was just seeing people play it. It's the typical sort of monster type of movie, and it makes sense to use that video game as a jump-off point to a movie. And I like the fact that in the movie they use sort of the first-person shooter aspect that they do in the video game as well. They use that in the movie, but in general, I can only mention bad movies made from video games. From what I can think off the top of my head, and that's the worst.
I just posted a link in chat to the Wikipedia on video game movies that are based on video games. So if you guys want to have a look-see on that, and if there's anything that you can think of, in the meantime, I will talk because that's what I like to do. So my worst video game movie is probably Lara Croft 2. The Temple of the Cradle of Light or something. The first film is relatively enjoyable fun, but the second film just kind of fell flat. Or, kind of, like, on the scale, I love the Resident Evil films, I really, really do, but, like, the first one is awesome. The fifth one is one of the worst films I have watched in many years. It's so high budget. And I was watching it with my sister for the first time. I was with her, but I had to stop halfway through because she was like, Jenny, all you're doing is complaining. And I'm like, but it makes no sense. Why would they kidnap the deaf girl?
Those movies. I forgot that they were actually videos. Jesus Christ, they are horrible.
Mm-hmm.
Everything from the first one. After that, it's just like, it makes no sense. Why are you doing this?
Well, I like the first one, and I like the second one for being a super cheesy, like, if you like Charlie's Angels, you're kind of like the second one. And the third one's alright, and the fourth one and the fifth one, I'm like, nope, I can't do it anymore. I just can't invest myself in this franchise.
Yeah, I think I stopped watching after the third one. I watched the first one, the first three Resident Evil movies. I watched those. I don't think I watched any after that, just because they stopped having any sort of impact on me. But as far as like the worst video game movie I think I've actually ever seen, probably the first one that was out there, Super Mario Brothers. That was a horrible waste of time. Which is weird because you had Bob Hoskins, who's good. You had John Leguizamo, who's okay in some things, and Dennis Hopper, who's generally pretty good, but you throw him into this weird kind of, and that was I can't even say that was part of the problem because just the plot of the movie was like very little relation to the video game, but I can't really fault him for that because how do you turn that kind of video game into a movie? I mean, the whole objective in Mario Brothers is just go to the right side of the screen. And it's not really a plot detail. I mean, these guys have to go right. So they obviously had to go somewhere with it, and they tried to, but it was just this big mess And if you were a fan of the video game, and a lot of people were, obviously, you just had no clue as to what the movie came from, and as a movie, it just didn't work in and of itself. So it was horrible. A good runner-up would be Double Dragon. Same kind of thing. I mean, at least that had kind of a plot to it, but it was just so bad. So I think the idea that movies based on video games have a terrible reputation is very well deserved, because straight from the start, they got off to a rocky start.
Mm-hmm. How about you, Liam?
I think it's Resident Evil best. Worst? I don't know. I was gonna say Super Mario Bros.
I think it's a double vote.
Yeah, but I don't know. Yeah, Mario Bros. I'll just go with that one. I had another one in mind, but I forget it.
Well, we can always come back to it. What were you gonna say, Meta?
Oh, I was just saying, looking at the list, it kind of dawns on me how many movies of these I've watched and not really realized that they are, made from video games. The one that actually hit me right now, as I'm thinking about it, should have hit me before, Prince of Persia, Sands of Time, because I've actually played that shit. I played it with my brother and my dad.
Mm-hmm.
And that was, it's a problem when shirtless Jake Gyllenhaal can't save a movie.
Oh,
So,
was that the only saving feature?
it didn't even save it. I mean, that was like, you're like, oh yeah, Jake Gyllenhaal, but like, so bad story. That's it. It was an interesting idea, but it was just, it became sort of too cheesy almost. A lot of these movies, I'm like, a lot of them, as Chris mentions as well with the Super Mario Brothers, is that a lot of them don't have an actual plot line, because a lot of the plot is in the video games that have a plot line. It's played out in the video games. So what the movie would be sort of a recreation of the plot line in the video games. And why would you then not just play the video game instead? And I see on the list like stuff like Cut the Rope, Temple Run, Angry Birds are gonna be made into to movies. I'm like,
There's going to be an Angry Birds movie.
there's gonna be an Angry Birds movie. It's the same thing like
I
Battleship.
Straight to that.
The movie Battleship was also based on the on the game Battleship, and it's just like, what is life about when you can take a board game and create a movie out of that shit? I mean,
Starring Rihanna.
Starring Rihanna, and again, a movie where a hot dude didn't even save it. It was that bad. Come on, hot men, save it, please. Lord.
Alan, do you want to jump in with a thought on the worst and the best of movies based on video games? Any thoughts?
I'd have to
How
say
many
Mortal
posters?
Kombat 2.
Oh, I love that film. It's so awful.
Mainly because the first one I felt, the first one did it. The first one didn't need any more. See, I'm used to like MySpace angle. There you go. I lose 20 stone if I put it up there. It's wonderful. Yeah, I'd have to say Mortal Kombat 2. Mainly because the first one did everything it needed to do. It was never going to be like some Avatar bullshit. Welcome to my ceiling. I'm sorry. Yeah, was the second one, it just went too far, and then they had to have the stupid fucking army monster thing, and
In the second one, I liked that they killed off one of the heroes in the first 30 seconds, and then
Yeah,
what they did
that's
a lot with the with like female empowerment moments. Every time they wanted a female empowerment moment, they faced her off with like 4 little enemies, and then they made the boys equally badass by facing them off with just one really epic enemy. And they do that like 5 times, where they're like, the woman's taking on like 4 normal henchmen, and the bros taking on like a super robot. And I like that sort of like, everyone's empowered.
There you go.
Both of those films are delightfully bad.
Yeah, at least with Mortal Kombat, I think that's probably been one of the most successful, video game transitions that they've had. And yeah, it's not a great movie, but I think out of the best of a bad pile, it still works. It's still entertaining, and it's a Mortal Kombat movie. I mean, the essence of Mortal Kombat games are a bunch of one-on-one fights, and the first movie, managed to pull that off in a somewhat coherent plot. So I think it worked. But yeah, the second one was just garbage. It was so bad. So.
Yeah.
It's a Street Fighter reboot, have they not?
Yeah.
They did a web series which was amazing. I can remember watching it when it first came out. I think that was like 2011 or something. And they had like an amazing cast of for a web series they got some all-star sci-fi TV actors in.
Yeah,
they had people from.
Well, they did the films with Jean-Claude Van Damme in it. Before you started peddling really weak piss-ass American beer. Just, but yeah, I heard that they're recasting. Fucking hell! Look at the greys on that.
Just blame the white balance. Blame the white balance.
Yeah, they're white. They're just white. Yeah, no. Look. We've even got greys in the beard now.
I have greys in my beard too. Do you see that? Right there.
I just feel like the white is coming through on my face. Like.
I have wrinkles in my eyes when I smile.
I get forehead wrinkles up here sometimes because I'm constantly
You don't have to worry, Jenny. Right? When you left the Twitch stream, there was at least 3 15-year-old boys that was making sure they checked out your channel.
Yeah.
Pretty.
Well, it's good because I've lost a couple of subscribers this week. Woo!
Oh, idiots.
They don't like losing subscribers.
YouTube did a quick dead subscriber cleanse on Friday, so you may have lost some accounts that haven't been logged in for a few months.
Maybe. Okay, cool. Anyway, moving back onto the subject.
Alan's here to derail a topic. Woo!
Now,
as usual,
there is generally consensus that video game movies are bad. Do you guys have any theories as to why that's the constant trend? Is it? Can you think of any particular reasons off the top of your head that would explain why they are so bad so often? It's they have potential, but they just don't manage it.
I think it all boils down to what Chris was talking about, the fact that there is no storyline in most of them, and then when they try to create a storyline, the game characters often become so OCC, out of character, that it ruins the idea that it's the same character from sort of the game. And I think that a lot of the video games we have right now are beautifully made. They are so amazing. The cutscenes are movies in and of themselves, which means that we don't really need a whole new angle of how that story went. And that's why I think that a lot of the movies are flopping.
Do you think with these more cinematic games that are coming out that movie games, games of... I'm going to keep saying the wrong order, aren't I, all the way through this hangout?
Yep.
Video game movies, do you think they're going to become kind of useless with these very, very cinematic games available?
I do think so. I think that, if we think of something like, The Last of Us, or some of these other newer games where they focus a lot on the cut sequences, they are often, 5-10 minutes long sometimes, I think that it's so beautifully made, and that's where you really get to know the story of the game and of the characters. I think that eventually, you know, people will sit down and think, okay, we're gonna do a Last of Us movie, but we can't really do that because they've already done that in the game through all the cutscenes and everything, and they've made something so beautiful that was so relatable to the story. Like, how can we create that again and be successful?
I don't know. It's going to be interesting. I mean, there's obviously the point that video games have become so cinematic that there's almost no point. But the way, particularly Hollywood is these days, where they want to invest on a established intellectual property, all the comic book movies that are coming out, that again the video games, those franchises which become very, very popular, are going to be a natural breeding ground for more movies. And I actually think the next couple of years are going to see whether or not we get more of those, because there are on the slate several movies that, if they do reasonably well, will produce more. I mean, just next year, like Warcraft is coming out, and Uncharted is coming out, and I don't know that Warcraft has much of a chance, but if Uncharted is really good, which it could be, you know, then we'll see more video game movies coming out. I think they've already got one slated for Mass Effect, and that could be a really good movie. You know, it's set up to be, but you know, again, it's just if they make good movies, then we'll see more good movies. You know, it's just the problem of making first couple ones that are actually good.
When it comes to, you used Last of Us as an example of a game that doesn't need to be made into a movie. They are actually making it into a movie. They've got Sam Raimi in to produce, Neil Druckmann in to write, and possibly Maisie Williams, as in Arya from Game of Thrones, to play Ellie.
That's actually, that would be pretty good casting,
to
though.
be confirmed. So obviously, that one's one of those ones that, again, there's also obviously an Assassin's Creed film coming out soon. So there's a lot of very cinematic games that are being put to film. I'm very much excited for a Uncharted film, which I think is scheduled to come out soon. And that is, of course, the cinematic game. It is all active cutscenes. So I'm interested to see whether or not that will happen.
See,
do well.
I don't think all game films are bad. I mean, I didn't play Resident Evil, but I liked the films that came from them. Maybe that's because they are so heavily based on those. You know, they are literally just live-action versions of the game. And you get to see the direct characters. I may be wrong, but that's my general understanding. But there are games that are based on films using their intellectual property, like Batman Arkham Asylum. Those did fairly well, and they seem to be warmly received by the film fans and the gaming community as a separate entity. Maybe that's, you know, a case in point that.
That one's an interesting one, because it's not just based on the film, is it? It's not just based on the film, it's based on a pre-existing character which has multiple media.
Property to generate the characters, but they don't base it on a film. They've not made, you know, Batman Begins, the game, but they have made Resident Evil, the film, in which they just rip the story. So
well, I think.
I guess that's the lines. If you either need to get a really good writer with a franchise that would work, like Doom. That was fucking appalling.
Thank you.
They just put Dwayne Johnson. They go, oh right, we need someone to do something. Well, The Rock's free. Yeah, we'll just put him in there and we'll just get him to shoot shit. No, there was no plot line to Doom. The only plot line in Doom is run around and kill shit. Like, if you try and make a film out of a first-person shooter, there's nothing there. But if you try and make a film out of Resident Evil had a plot line, The Walking Dead, that's got a plot line, right? If you stick rather close to the original plot line and then get someone to finesse it, then it looks a bit better than taking something dumb and trying to give it heart.
Well, that's kind of flipping the subject around, because I haven't actually got around to talking about video games based on movies, which is kind of the other half of this hangout, and it's appropriate because we've just reached the half-an-hour mark. So the other half of this is obviously video games based on movies. There's the ones that we've kind of mentioned which work, which are kind of pre-existing entities, not just movies. So that's Shadow of Mordor. It's apparently a very good game. I've watched some gameplay of it, and it's amazing. The Telltale games are amazing from everything I hear and everything I see, and they're usually adaptations of a very detailed pre-existing universe. So that's Game of Thrones, Wolf Among Us, Jurassic Park, and The Walking Dead. Those are very massive pre-existing universe, and they don't base them on the original characters, but they base them in an entirely new universe. And Arkham, all of the Arkham series, the Batman series, where they're based on entire universes and franchises which are outside of media. But there have obviously been a lot of games based on movies that I don't know whether or not a lot of you guys know about these, but they exist and they are awful. For example, there is an Amazing Spider-Man video game. There is a Captain America video game. There is the Halle Berry version of Catwoman, the video game. There is, of course, GoldenEye, the video game, which is a very, very well received video game adaptation. And there is a plethora of other video game adaptations, including, of course, the Harry Potter series video game adaptation, which is one of the few exceptions that, unless you're a child, it is not necessarily the best video game.
It's not good.
Well, yeah, I remember. Growing up, you see those. I'm sorry, but those games that are based off of movies, and I think 9 times out of 10, what happened was, a popular movie was coming out, and they wanted to cash in on it, so they quickly slapped together some sort of video game that they could put the movie's name on, and put it out there, so people would buy it because they love the movie, and you just had a plethora of crap out there. To put on your console, because for many, many years, every time you saw a video game based off a movie, it was a safe bet that it was horrible, unless it was a large franchise that spawned kind of additional material. What I think
it's a Lego version parody in which I wouldn't go anywhere near any Star Wars game, but the Lego version of the Star Wars films is so fucking entertaining that I'd happily play a Lego version of anything, right?
Star Wars is a great point, because you look at any of the Star Wars games based off the movies, and they're not very good. But you get stuff like Knights of the Old Republic, which are excellent. Those are some of the best games out there. So
don't bring out Lego 50 Shades of Grey. That would just
No. God.
Just anything 50 Shades of Grey should just be banned.
Mash the X button to make sure that the Lego butt plug.
No, stop. There, mister. Stop.
Don't mention butt plug when Jenny is moderating. That's not nice.
That's fine. She was playing with my sword earlier. Completely out of context. La la la.
Why couldn't I play with your sword?
Twitch when you become a mod.
Stalk me enough, Meta.
You know I stalk you, babe.
Anyway, away from 50 Shades of Grey, so Lego movies are kind of like Lego games, are sort of like an entity in of themselves, because they both parody the fact that they are Legos and the movies that they are playing for. Have any of you actually played any Lego movie-based games?
Oh, yes. All of them.
Again, the Star Wars ones, but that's not it.
I've played all of them, I guarantee it. No, I haven't played the newest one, actually, one that's Lego Batman 3. I haven't heard that one. I haven't played that one. But recently they've all kind of changed to be a little bit more... They've gone better over time, but they don't tend to follow... Well, then again, the ones based on comic books tend to follow things quite well. They tend to follow the movies quite well, I think.
I found the Lego game for the Lego movie bizarrely meta. because it was just kind of circled within itself. It was basically the same movie, but like exactly the same visuals, but you played it.
Well, that's pretty much what the Lego games are. They're just it's the movie, just with the odd Lego joke, which is
But with the Lego movie, it's a Lego joke about Legos made out of Legos made out of Legos.
I've still not seen that. Right, that's on my kind of download stroke. Clearly gone to the cinema list.
Okay, you are not a pirate.
No, I'm not. I am hairy, and I have a beard, and I seem to have frozen half for no reason. But no, I am not. I am not a pirate.
Honestly, wink.
I'm a mother effing pirate. I'm playing Assassin's Creed Black Flag right now. I'm a pirate.
Yar.
Still playing Assassin's Creed. Is there an Assassin's Creed movie coming up?
Yeah, there's one.
There is due to be an Assassin's Creed movie.
It's
And
got Michael Fassbender.
at the moment, it's going to have Michael Fassbender in it.
Yeah.
See, I can't hear that name and take that name seriously.
Because you've seen his penis?
Probably Michael Assbender.
One, because yes, I've seen his penis because it's on the internet, and two, Fastbender. That sounds either painful or a really rapid homosexual. I just can't get it. I just.
It sounds like.
Anywho, going back to the subject at hand. What do you
cutting
think?
off Liam in joke. That's not nice.
Sorry, Liam. I was just trying to get Alan under wraps. You talk.
You can't control him. He's like an entity of his own. The only way you can control Alan is by muting him.
Liam, come back to us.
Handcuffs. Anyway.
No, handcuffs don't work. We found that out yesterday. You know that.
Okay. What the fuck?
Liam,
Yeah?
what were you going to say?
Oh, no, I don't even remember now. It's fine.
Anyway, my question for you guys was, what would make a good video game adaptation of a movie, and what would make a good movie adaptation of a video game? What do you think would it take to make a good version of a movie, and what do you think would make a good movie to make into a video game?
I think they've missed a trick in not licensing a Grand Theft Auto movie.
Mm-hmm.
Because if they strung enough of the plot lines that they have within the main narrative of a film and have the odd fan service joke, I think you could make a film out of Grand Theft Auto. I mean, they've done it for Need for Speed. Is it Need for Speed?
I was just thinking about that one. Yeah.
You know, Need for Speed, they did okay. They've got Aaron Paul in it, and if it was written by Vince Gilligan, I'd fucking watch it. But, you know, yeah, but that's the only thing I can think of that has a narrative.
Well, all video games have some form of narrative, whether it's well developed or not. You know, it's basic elements are there. It's just, I think, as Alan, you kind of mentioned earlier, it's the writing. You got to get somebody, you know, who is a decent writer, and Hollywood has plenty of good writers to go in there and actually pen a script because they know how to craft a movie. You know, they do it all the time. They just have to realize that, okay, they've got a pre-existing world that's got its own set of rules, but within that, you know, obviously there's a narrative, there's a plot line you can develop, and from there craft a movie. I mean, again, they craft movies all the time that are good, enjoyable pieces of art, so why not just use the video game premise to, you know, make a movie as opposed to just slapping some dialogue into, you know, what we see on the console. So it's certainly possible. I just don't know why they make it harder than it should be.
I think it's down to lore. Lore as in Lore.
Yeah.
We've got like Final Fantasy, which I'm not sure if you touched upon before I arrived. Final Fantasy had its own film.
Yes.
In which it was built in its own fantasy era, and it was pretty much the story of WALL-E. You know, it's the end of the world. She went out to find what was left of Earth and then recreated, and right. But that film, the Final Fantasy, not Advent Child, right? They've made 2 films. I'd like to point out. I'm a Final Fantasy nerd. That's my point, right? But yeah, the original Final Fantasy took its own plot line and took its own graphics, and then that was the first ever CGI animated proper. It thought realistic human beings, which was quite good at the time. But that took ideas from the Final Fantasy environment and universe and brought it to us without using a plot line that had already existed and turned it into a film. So the equivalent of taking a film, making it into a game that's not related to a film series, it did it in reverse. And I found it was quite good because as a Final Fantasy fan, see that they had taken the lore and integrated that into a fan-friendly film that could still be watched by someone that isn't a fan of the universe. Whilst on the flip side, when they made Final Fantasy Advent Child, they took the jumping off point to the end of Final Fantasy VII and made it into a compelling story that you wanted to see later. So they turned the cliffhanger into something that made sense. So I think he could go in that direction, but once again, even if you took... See, Doom you run around and yes, you know all these bad guys, but there isn't actually any folklore behind it. Whilst Final Fantasy, if you've played it enough, or Assassin's Creed, or stuff like that, you've got back history, you've got characters and rules and little hints that you can build a story out of. If you give that to a Joss Whedon, he'll eat it up and he'll love it, you know. But if you give that to a Sam Raimi or a, you know, what's his face man that does twists, he did the Village, you know. Shyamalan ding dongy man. Right, I don't want him anywhere near a franchise, because if you're invested in that franchise and you already love Batman, you don't want to realise that at the end of Batman Begins again, that Batman is actually Joker, who is married to Robin and is banging Catwoman. It's just, you know...
That's an interesting plotline. That sounds like some very bizarre fanfic.
But that's the kind of Shyamalan-y, twisty thing, you know?
Yeah. Well, it's a very interesting thought that you've just brought up, because one of the things I was going to mention is, I don't know whether or not any of you guys know, but Capcom, the makers of Resident Evil, have actually made some in-canon animated films. They've made 2 specifically, and they are in canon. All the characters are the real characters from the games. They are all the same voice actors, and they are some of the most amazing animated films. Like, they're all digitally animated. They're not the best, but in terms of plot, if you compare them to the Paul W.S. Anderson ones, they are 1,000 times better, and the characters are so much more true to the original story, and I love the original stories. Like, if I look at each of the games and I look at the whole universe, the universe makes sense. Like, there is very few ginormous plot holes. When I get to Resident Evil 4 and Resident Evil 5, my internal logic crumbles, and then I want to hit something, which never happens, but it happened with Resident Evil 4 and 5. Like things like Ada Wong, who the actress they chose for Ada Wong, she's one of my favorite characters from the franchise. She looks very, very much like Ada Wong in Resident Evil 5. They chose her, very good lookalike, but her characterization is way off. She's kind of like cutesy badass. So like, I can do the kicks and stuff, but I'm still just gonna stand here looking pretty with a gun. And it's just, it's like, really, it bugs me. So I was wondering, any video games that you've loved, who would you want to cast in some of the roles? Is there any specific games that you've been playing where you've looked at a character, you're like, oh, this person would be perfect for this, other than Ellen Page for The Last of Us and Beyond Two Souls, playing the character that she plays in The Last of Us and Beyond Two Souls?
If I was going to do a Mass Effect movie, I might cast Jim Caviezel as Commander Shepard, just because I think he could bring that kind of gravitas. He's a very kind of understated actor, which I kind of like. I think he's one of those guys who understands less is more. And I think you could, do that. One, I think Mass Effect could be a very, it's a very cinematic game, so I think it'd be, if handled correctly, would be an entertaining movie to watch.
Visually, that's a really good match, actually. I've just Googled him, and I can see him being a pretty good Shepard.
See, I can see pretty much Chris Pratt being anything.
Yes. Yes.
Which
Yes.
is one of the reasons why at the moment he is everything.
Yeah, so I think Hollywood agrees with you at the moment.
Don't let him be the next Benedict Cumberbatch. Don't shove him in everything, because he might become the next Nicolas Cage.
Yeah, but
He should be shoved everywhere.
Nicolas
saying.
Cage didn't have talent. Benedict Cumberbatch has talent and a fucked up name, which means he's like the whole new level of Jew. You know what I mean?
Proud of his face, though.
Yeah,
It's
but
tired of his
imagine if
face.
Benedict Cumberbatch and Michael Fassbender got married. Like that just double-barreled name. Would they be faster at Cumberbatch or Cumberbatch faster?
Oh
Wow.
man.
it's just it's those kind of people that are so talented that you just want to punch them. You know, how dare you roll the D20 and get 5 20s? That's not how this works, Mr. Cumberpenis. That's not. Because not only is he talented, not only is he pretty to look at, right, but he's also funny. You know?
And English, and we all know the English are the best.
Honestly, that
Hey.
British accent saves everything.
Yeah, so that's what I get every single day.
I think after seeing, not to completely change the subject, but after seeing Bradley Cooper in American Sniper, I can kind of see him playing Joel in Last of Us if they made a film out of it.
Ooh, that's a really good thought.
Or Nathan Drake. I think you could do Nathan Drake for Uncharted.
I was going to say, do you think would be a good Nathan Drake? Who do you think would be a good, I can't remember, Lucy? Is it Lucy? From the Uncharted series? I'm trying to remember the name of the girl.
Oh, I can't remember.
The blonde.
The blonde.
Yeah.
It might not be Lucy. But who do you think would make a good female counterpart to Nathan Drake?
I'll
Bradley
audition.
Cooper's
It's fine. I'll do it. I'll take one for the team. I'll be the blonde one. It's fine.
I need to look up her
I'd
name
either
now.
go Kristen Bell or maybe Margot Robbie. Depending
Yeah.
on how she
She's
does
the
in
hot
Suicide
shit right
Squad.
now. She's the
Margot
hot shit.
Robbie for everything. That and Natalie Portman in a giant stew. I mean-
Why is Margot Robbie all of a sudden the shit? I'm not getting it.
I think it was Wolf of Wall Street.
Wolf of Wall Street, yeah. I think
Yeah.
everyone just wanted to be at the end of her Stiletto Hill. I think
Yes.
that was, all of what? 3 and a bit foot away from, like, something else. Jenny's in the chat.
What's something else?
Something else. Tell me about this something else, Alan. I'm not sure what you're talking about.
It's got a tail and floppy ears.
Guys, who do you think would make a good Lara Croft?
Angelina Jolie.
Yeah.
I think
The
Angelina Jolie when she had skin on, like meat on her bones.
when she had skin on her. Otherwise,
No, she's
It's a
really
whole
good.
other story.
I don't know. The problem with Laura Croft is, there's got to be a certain amount of athleticism to that role, and just the actresses who could kind of pull it off haven't really established themselves as great actresses yet. I'm thinking, what's her name, Gina Carano, and Ronda Rousey. I mean, they've started acting, but they haven't developed their chops yet. So if they get some,
Gina Carano could. I mean, she's better at acting than Rousey, but she's definitely not an actress yet. Like me. Yeah, she definitely needs a few levels, but she would probably be like my, ideal type Lara Croft. Who would not be my ideal type Lara Croft? Kristen Stewart.
Oh God. Oh, that's a traumatic
I don't think
thought.
it should be anything ever again.
She should just never. She should just stop being
Well, no,
a human.
I don't think she should stop being. I think she should get a good job, like in some sort of superstore, and live, a quiet life and develop a personality.
Well, she did
And
just
get
win like a French award that nobody else wins, so she is doing something right. But
Yeah,
she should
yeah,
never
fucking
be.
epic amounts of cock. That's what she's doing right.
Two people that I think could play Lara Croft. I'm sorry to interrupt. It's just I literally just had this thought.
Yep.
Oh, thank you so much, Liam. Thank you.
One lass, she was in Legion and she was in Supernatural as Sam's girlfriend that died in the first episode. Her name's Adrienne Padalecki. And I think
Oh,
she's
yeah.
really good.
She's blonde though.
No, she's not.
Ain't she?
No.
Is she in Supernatural?
Okay, she's in.
Was she the one that played Robin?
No, I don't think so.
Did you say her name's Padalecki?
I think yeah, it is. She was
Yeah,
also in
like
Red Dawn with.
Yes.
Is she married to Gerard?
No.
No, like the one who dies in like the first episode.
Yeah, the one that gets stuck to the ceiling. Let me look.
Oh, the mom.
Jessica.
Oh,
No,
Jessica.
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 Yeah.
Okay.
Who's the other one? I forgot the other one again.
Yeah, I feel like I've seen her in an action movie. I can't remember where though.
She's in Red
She's got
Dawn.
like a scar or something, or like a something,
Oh,
or a
Well,
mole.
wasn't she in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.? Wasn't she in this last season?
I don't know. I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
Another one I'm thinking of as well is Scarlett Johansson.
Oh yes.
Yeah. Although I don't know what I like. I don't think I've ever seen her as a brunette.
Well, she's been a redhead and a blonde, so I think she could pull off brunette. She has the curves. Let's be honest. Lara Croft. She needs them curves.
What about I've just thought of it because I've just finished watching Agent Carter. What about what's she called? The main girl from Agent Carter. I'm gonna punch myself for not remembering her name. Google is my friend. The moment I get this name, I'm gonna really kick myself. Hayley Atwell. She's English. She's curvy. She's a real badass in Agent Carter. She maybe doesn't look modern enough though. She's got a very classical face.
Can she pull off the physical stuff?
If you watch Agent Carter, my gosh, can she pull off the physical?
Cool. I've got another one, Jessica Biel.
Ooh, yeah,
Maybe.
maybe. She's done a good fair share of action films.
Yeah.
I've never really liked her. I don't know why. I always
Yeah,
see her
I
and I'm like,
understand.
oh, it's Jennifer Biel. Okay.
Jennifer Lawrence.
Everything.
She's the female Chris Pratt.
She's the queen.
See, I can see Jennifer
Queen.
Lawrence as a Lara Croft. I mean, look at her. Jennifer Lawrence is Katniss, isn't she?
Yeah.
I think she could do Lara Croft. I mean,
She just needs a bit more edge because like she has that very good girl next door neighbor sort of vibe. She would need a bit more edge to play Lara Croft, but I think she could do Lara Croft.
see,
Have you seen Winter's Bone? Because that she's got a lot of edge in that.
Which one?
Winter's Bone?
I haven't
That was
seen
her.
it.
That was her breakout film, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It's
She was
like-
nominated for an Oscar for that.
Yeah, it's like she's a teenager looking after her younger brother, and her dad goes missing, and she like lives in like meth country, and she has to like deal with a bunch
Also
of
known as Denmark.
I think cold, somewhere cold in America.
It's cold here. Just gonna say that. Pretty sure any movie is just about Denmark.
Are we debating the worst places and like the Scotsman hasn't waded in at any point to mention Aberdeen or Glasgow?
That's because they don't have to. That's because it's on the back of someone's mind. They've repressed those places. That's why no one's saying it.
We'll just ignore that train spotting and filth exist. It's fine.
That's what Hollywood's trying to do right now.
I still haven't watched Train Spotting. I do need to get
Me
on that
neither.
at some point.
Yes, you do.
Yeah, because you'll absolutely love one of the scenes. They go for a swim. It's right at the
In
start.
the
You'll love
toilet, right?
it. Yeah.
I've heard of
Yeah,
this
I know
scene.
what. Anyway, we've been going for nearly an hour now, so I will put an order in chat. And if you guys want to sign off, and as you sign off, if you were to be in a video game, who would you want to be? What genre would you want it to be? What world would you want to be in? And what would your powers/abilities be?
Damn, that's a lot of shit to remember.
That is a lot. Well,
Yeah,
basically, if you were in a
and you
video
might-
game, what would
Who
you
would
do?
you be?
Who would you be? What would you do? And what genre would it be in?
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, I guess I'll start then. My name is Meta. I have been the drunk, rude Danish person in this hangout. You can find me on my Instagram, Twitter, YouTube at MetaMedicine. I have now been posting videos 2 weeks in a row, which is kind of good. And if I were to be in a video game, you know, it would probably be like, I know I am not her, but it would be something like Tomb Raider, Lara Croft, sort of, you know, being a badass, protecting feminism, and being like a badass and just being hot and solving either crime or like discovering shit. That would be my gimmick. Crime or discovering shit.
What would your
So-
weapon of choice be? Would it be guns or like bows and arrows or what?
Guns. I'm a pretty good shot, actually. It's kind of weird, but I'm a really good shot.
Nice.
It's my turn? Oh, shoot. Okay.
No more time to think, Chris. Just do it.
Nobody should be coming out and getting shot.
Well, okay, obviously, again, my name is Christopher. You can find me at Easy Chair Reviews, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. If I was in a video game, you know,
Would you
I
be
do
in
like
the
the
Star Wars
RPGs.
universe?
I would like to be in the Star Wars universe, so that would be fun. Like some sort of updated, you know, the Old Republic or Knights of the Old Republic. But yeah, if I could be like one of the Jedi, like one of the old, you know, Jedi Masters, who's, you know, has kind of evolved beyond the straight physical. I mean, he can still whip out the lightsaber and take care of business when needed, but is, you know, more the philosophical genius, you know, the clever mastermind. That's probably my character.
Nice.
Yeah, you would definitely be like the clever one behind the scenes, pulling all the strings, just being like, look at my master plan, it's working.
Do you like villainy? Do you write villain dialogues for things? Because that was amazing. Obey my master plan. Mwah.
We should do a movie club like video game. We could all do our own voice acting and like Meta can
Oh,
be
yeah.
like the boss battle villain. I'll be like the overture voice, like welcome to the game. How
You
are
made
you
a
all doing
tutorial.
today?
How have you been today? Are you ready to play this game?
Anyway, Liam.
I'm Liam Servatorix. I've been posting up really stupid videos lately. But then again, when I've not been putting stupid videos up, yeah, if you want to go find me as Servatorix on YouTube and other places too. I mean, let's look at me, I'm Thor. Let's make a Thor video game.
Oh, yeah.
Free to roam, so because I do whatever the hell I want. And yeah. And obviously Thor, I'd have Thor's powers.
Alan, I kind of am nervous about what sort of game you would want to feature heavily in.
50 Shades of Grey.
Okay, if I was in a video game that's semi-related to a film, I'd probably have to be in a sci-fi film. I'd be an insane gal that can't remember the world, that runs around and just snaps and kills people. I think there's even a poster of this wonderful game floating around the internet. And yeah, I think that would be good, mainly because that deserves a game, because it's got a decent plot line.
Cool. Well, I'm Jenny. I've been your host for this evening. I don't think I've blown anything up, so yay! Yeah, thank you for watching. You can find me at Took It Home to Jen, as in my lower third, and my YouTube channel is Took It Home to Jenny. And if I were to be in a video game, it would probably be like an open world RPG, kind of like Skyrim, but with prettier clothing options and more hair options. Like slightly more treasure and slightly less Dwemer caves. And yeah, I would be totally like, I'm always torn between Conjurer and Mage, because Conjurer is really cool because you can just like send your like animals to like do your thing and then you just run off and hide in the corner, or being like completely overpowered and being like fireball. But I would definitely be mystical, and I would want to be a badass with super pretty hair and nice dresses, because that would be awesome. And thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed watching. Feel free to do all the commenting and the like things and the share things and subscribe and all those wonderful whatnots. We are all part of this movie club, so every week we do this. And during the week, one of us will post a video on the channel telling us what to watch, and if we can, we all watch that movie and review it on our own private channels, and then tag it Movie Club Strikes Back or MCSB. I can never get the order right. And we will find those videos and put them into our playlist. So if you guys want to get involved, go to our channel, look up this week's movie, and film your own video and tag it with Movie Club Strikes Back or MCSB, and we will see you guys soon. And if we like you, you may probably come in and chat to us, because we like new people. Again, thank you for watching, and see you guys all next week for another Movie Club Hangout. Bye-bye!
Jazz hands.